Well, welcome to Modeling Time with me, Brian Banna. This video is going to be dedicated to just the grit blasting booth. I'm going to take the camera out to the garage. I'll have to hand hold it and give you a little tour of the booth, kind of give an explanation of what it is. I'll also put down in the description section some links for the type of booth that I have. The type that I have is no longer made anymore. It was made by Northcoast Hobbies back in the 90s. But there are some that are similar. The Cyclone one in the link that I'm going to put down there is pretty much the same booth that I have. So let me get the camera off the stand. We'll go out to the garage and I'll give you a little tour of the booth. Okay, so this is the grit blasting booth. It's in the corner of the garage, at the front of the garage. You can see that there's dust all over the place. That's because my gloves have holes in them right now. I need to get new gloves and I need to put a new seal in around the top. It is a top loading booth. I had this piece of glass made a long time ago. It's a 1/4 inch or 3/8 inch plate glass. And I had holes drilled in it so I could put handles on and stuff. But as you can see, the seal is pretty much gone. It's on the inside of the glass, but it's mashed down pretty good. I need to put a new seal on it. This booth never had a good seal. Now, when using a grit blasting booth, you see over here, this is the port for the dust vacuum, but I don't use a dust vacuum. And let me turn the light on. So there's the inside of it. See the gloves. There's usually a piece of expanded steel as a shelf in here, but I took it out because it just gets in the way. And grit blasting small parts, sometimes the blast of air blows the part out of your hand. It would go below the expanded steel, and then I'd have to stop everything and dig it out and all that. So it's just easier to do this. The corners were hollow, and they would fill up with grit. So I filled them with expanding foam, cut that out, and then put some sealer, like some tub and tile sealer over it and stuff. The drain for the grit is in the bottom down here. It's just a plug that you push in. This is a pressure relief port, and I just put it into a coffee can. This can fills up, and when I do the cleanup and stuff, I'll dump it all back in. That's a bag of grit back there. And I'll put a link in the description also on that. And it's just basically set up, on a shelf there and stuff. The ports are over here. I made this plate that's on the side, and then this manifold that has 2 ports going in. I got the moisture ejector there, and then I just hook the quick disconnect air line up to that. And stuff, and then just these are the shut-off valves for the air. So one valve goes to the gun. This is a 5 CFM gun, and the other valve goes to the pencil. Now, when using something like this, these come pretty much with ceramic tips on them, but if you're gonna, and a ceramic tip on that, but I highly suggest, which I don't order them with ceramic tips, I order them with tungsten tips. The ceramic tips get eaten up right away with the grit. The tungsten tips, they last a long time. They're not getting eaten up at all. So those work pretty good. This is to stop the flow of grit. You just put it over that hole there, and the grit will flow, and then of course the gun is just a trigger to get the airflow going, and it just pulls from down in here. See, there's the big gun, and there's get this out of the way, and there's the pencil right there. And I just have them attached in the bottom. There's a screw through, there's a clamp that holds them down and stuff like that. There's the ports coming in. And so that's basically the grit, or the booth that I use. Now I get the air from the big tank compressor right there. So it just runs behind the workbench and then over to here. So that's what you see as far as what the grit blasting booth is. So there you saw a bit of what the booth was, or what the booth is. I'll give you an explanation of how it works, a little tour, walk around, and things like that. All the models that I build before they get painted, before anything gets painted, gets a run through the booth. That's a very, very important tool in my arsenal. So if anything happens to that booth, I'll definitely be buying a new one right away. Again, there's links in the description on similar booths and some other items that you might want to look at. If you have any more questions about the booth, the operation of it. Oh, the operation of it, I didn't go over that. I typically run 40 psi. Anything above that creates a little bit more dust, but 40 psi is more than enough to do the work that needs to be done. It's light enough or heavy enough to put a nice toothy surface finish so that paint will stick to it. And it is the most important part of painting Delrin or engineered plastics, is to get that shiny non-stick surface off and put a tooth to it so that paint will stick. So all of my Delrin handrails get a run through that booth. It's real good on metal parts, and basically it just unifies the surface and makes an excellent base for painting. Typically you wouldn't even need primer before painting, but I put primer on so that I unify the color, so the difference between dark plastics, light plastics, metals, and things like that, everything's the same color, that's why. But anyway, I hope you got some good information out of that. Maybe you'll want to try to get one of these and use it. I'm the type of person that doesn't always properly set everything up, so I don't have a dust vacuum for that one out there, although at 40 psi it doesn't create a lot of dust. I need to do maintenance on that, get some new gloves. I've got holes all over the gloves and stuff like that. And just general maintenance like that. I need to put a new seal around it. You saw the dust all over the floor and everything. That dust is pretty tenacious. And I do wear a mask all the time. Doesn't matter whether it would seal up properly or not, I do wear a mask. So anyway, that takes care of the giving you an idea of the grit blaster, and I don't need to include that anymore in the tool video that I want to do. It's pretty hot out in the garage anyway, so I got that done. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that, and thank you for watching.